Everyone. Welcome to the NC Pre-K Carry Forward RFA Q&A webinar. I'm Courtney Barefoot. I'm the contract administrator for the private nonprofit NC Pre-K organizations, and I'm just going to kind of lead you through this presentation today. Sorry that we were running a little late. That was a connection issue on my part, but I think that we're good to go now. So I am joined here today with the panelists from the Contracts, Budget, and NC Pre-K program units, as well as our Assistant Director, Christy Snuggs, and our new Acting Director, Ariel Ford. Yay. So the way we're kind of going to run this Q&A webinar is I'm going to walk you guys through the RFA survey process. And as we go, if you'll just submit your questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen, we're going to address all these questions at the end of the presentation. So this presentation is going to be recorded, and we're going to post it to the DCDEE website for you guys. So let's just get started. This is your DCDEE NC Pre-K contract staff. If you guys have questions concerning the RFA, you can always feel free to reach out directly to Celeste Pleasant or myself, Courtney Barefoot, your contract administrators. Celeste works with the public schools, and I work with the private nonprofit organizations. Also, you could send questions to our DCDEE contracts manager, Candace Bailey. So first, I kind of want to go over the RFA itself and the survey process. When you first open up the link that Rachel Kaplan sent to you guys, this is the first thing you see. And it's kind of just the RFA cover page, and it's explaining what the RFA is, what these carry forward funds are. And so I kind of want to go over that first. So these are carry forward funds from fiscal year 1920. Not to be confused with other carry forwards you've gotten in the past. I know that this year we kept the funding levels the same for the NC Pre-K contractors, and so that might have included carry forward funds from last year, from previous years, but these are new. These are carry forward funds from 1920, and all NC Pre-K agencies are able to apply for these funds. So the amount of funds that can be applied for is 2%, up to 2% of your currently contracted budget, less the CCDF. So what we mean is take your current contract budget, subtract out the CCDF amount, and up to 2% of that amount can be applied for. We sent out a maximum funding list with the survey link, and we have also embedded a link to this funding list within the survey. So just below this, where it's talking about see attachment B, as you scroll down through the survey itself, there will be a link to attachment B, which is this maximum funding list. These are 100% state funds, and they can be used for administrative, your administrative budget, not your direct services budget. So the other thing I want to talk about here is the important dates, which would be Monday, September 21st. That's the deadline for getting the survey in. So please have all surveys submitted by 5 p.m. on that date. And the funds will be awarded on November 1st with Contract Amendment 1. So after you see that top cover sheet talking about the RFA, you scroll down and it's asking for your agency information. So this is kind of like the beginning of the application process. This is where you put in your organization's name, your email, phone number, the contact information, and then you get to this screen, which is the legal portion of the application. And so this just says that we accept that we've been given the opportunity for these RFA carry forward funds, and you'll get the yes or no, do you want to apply? Regardless of the intent of applying for these, we would like all agencies to fill out the survey just so that we have a sign off that if you didn't want to apply, you were given that opportunity. So this is where you sign, you put your title, the date will automatically populate, and you either select yes, I would like to apply for these funds, or no, I would not. If you select no, then the survey ends automatically because there's nothing else to fill out. If you select yes, then you continue to the next part of the survey, which is budgeting for these funds. So this is the beginning of the budget part of it. So like I said, as far as completing the survey goes, you access the Qualtrics survey through the link that was sent out to everyone. You then fill out your agency information and you confirm your intent to apply for these carry forward funds. That will then bring you to this page, if you say yes, where you get to budget for the cost for your agency. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up online so that we can see what that looks like.
Courtney, this is Celeste. Before you move on, could you make sure everybody sees everything on your screen?
On my screen?
Yes. I think there were some issues with people attending seeing something on the screen. I just want to make sure everybody can see that you are on that survey issue.
Okay. I was on the PowerPoint. Could everyone see the PowerPoint? I'm about to move on to the actual survey. I was just kind of working through the PowerPoint. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now to show people what the survey looks like. Celeste, can you see the survey where I shared my screen?
I can.
Okay.
I think we're good. I didn't see anything come up yet. I think we're good.
What now?
I think we're good.
Okay. So, like I was saying, if you click the yes that you would like to apply for these RFA funds, it will bring you to this. This is probably not what you're used to with the RFA survey. What we've tried to do here was take the line item budget and put it into survey format so that this isn't duplicative work. You can just go ahead and fill out the budget here. It will be submitted. The contracts unit will go over it, contact you if we have any issues, but we tried to make it pretty simple as far as the line item budget goes. So what happens is over here on the right, you put in the amounts that you're budgeting for. So is your agency budgeting for personnel, human resources? Say you're budgeting $37.25 for salaries, you put that amount over here in the salaries. Say you have $325 in fringe benefits, you put these amounts over here and they will total down here in the totals column. If you are doing fringe benefit costs, you will still have to complete the FTE worksheet. We have included a link within the survey here where you can download this FTE worksheet, and we've kept, I'll show you right here. It's the same FTE worksheet as you've always had to do for any other budget. We kept the line item, just a simple line item budget sheet in the beginning of it in case you guys want to use this to help you budget the cost so that you don't over budget. But the FTE worksheet will have to be submitted to us. The contracts unit will be reviewing these. And so if you guys have the FTE worksheet, you need to submit it to dcdee.contract.docs@dhhs.nc.gov. And that is also shared within the survey. Let me pull it back up to the survey. Also, after you've put in your cost, we will ask that you provide the detailed narrative, just like you do every time you fill out the line item budget. Please try to make this as detailed as possible. So, if you are budgeting for salary, funds budgeted for the salary of the NC pre-K coordinator, whose duties include, and just kind of try to make it as detailed as you possibly could. Please don't just put, funds budgeted for salaries. Regardless of if you are budgeting for funds for each line or not, please also put NA if you're not budgeting for funds. That way, it's kind of a check for us that we know nothing has been budgeted for, say, supplies and materials. You could put NA, you could put, not budgeting for, just put something in the narrative that lets us know that you're not budgeting for these costs. If you don't, it won't let you go forward. It'll still make you fill it out anyway. So it's just easy to go ahead and put in the NA as you go. So as we're looking through, you can see this is just simply the line item budget. The other point I kind of wanted to go over, I'm going to come all the way down here to other costs. It's the last thing. When you're putting in these narratives, also please break out the cost for us. So say you're budgeting for criminal background checks, we'll say funds budgeted funds budgeted for criminal background checks. Say you have 2 new employees who need their background checks. So break out the cost for us, please. Put 93, you can say 93 per background check times 2 equals 186, and then you put it up here.
Okay, Courtney, before you went on, I believe when you were trying to click on the FTE sheet, it was just a gray box. So I'm not sure if the attendees were able to see the FTE.
Oh, it didn't pull up?
No, it
Okay.
didn't.
Can you see it now?
No, ma'am, it's not showing. It's just a big gray box.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure what's going on there. I've pulled up an Excel document. But what will happen is I'll come back up here. When you click on that link, it will download. Can you see it downloaded down here, Celeste?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it will download an Excel doc, and it looks just like the line item budget when you open it up. The first page is a line item budget. The second tab is an FTE worksheet. And so you just download that, fill it out how you need to, and submit it to us. The only part of that we need is the FTE worksheet part. I'm sorry that I couldn't show you guys a picture of it. So when you get to the end and you're complete, when you've completed the entire budget, that is the whole survey. So you just click this blue arrow at the bottom down here, and that will end the survey for everyone. Let's see. Stop sharing here. Can everyone see the PowerPoint now?
I can see it.
Okay. So the last thing I kind of wanted to go over before we started taking questions was some allowable costs. So what expenses can be budgeted for with these funds? You can budget for any administrative line item with these funds. They are not CCDF funds. They're 100% state funds. So all line items are able to be budgeted for. I did create this allowable cost chart just to kind of go over some confusion points that we have every once in a while with the budgets. So supplies and materials, postage goes there. I know sometimes people put that down in other, but it actually goes under supplies and materials. That is also where you could budget for things like the personal protective equipment, PPE, cleaning supplies, and then your normal supplies and materials. IT equipment is also allowed, and it is allowable up to the $5,000 limit. So that is your contracted total limit. If you already have funds budgeted for IT equipment, what you can do is you just say 5,000, subtract out what's already budgeted for, and the remainder of that up to 5,000 you can budget for. Travel can be budgeted for, and it's allowable within the state rates. And criminal background checks, I know a lot of times we've said to put possibly up in human resources or somewhere else. Those go down in other. And as you probably just saw, we had that in other in the survey. So that is how you fill out and complete the survey. I think we're going to take some questions based on what was put in the Q&A. I will say that I will repeat that this is being recorded and will be posted on the DCDEE website. If you have any other questions concerning the RFA or anything we went over today, please direct those to the dcdee.contract.docs@dhhs.nc.gov email. And so I guess now I'll just kind of open the floor for questions. So Celeste, did we have any questions concerning the RFA?
Yes. One person said that they would like for you to share what carry forward funds are. Their volume wasn't working at the beginning of the PowerPoint.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So the carry forward funds are funds that were left over from last year, the 1920 NC Pre-K fiscal year. And so we just request that we can take those funds and use them kind of to build program capacity and to help give you guys just an administrative boost. So that's what these carry forward funds are for everyone.
Courtney, this is Christy. Just as a further elaboration, most of the time this is money that is generated from maybe slots that were, could be from slots that were not filled, could be for other expenses that the money didn't get used for, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So we typically have a little bit of money left over, and for the past couple of years, this is the way we've been able to give contract administrators a way to utilize, at least get their admin funding up to about 6% instead of the 4% that is normally funded with the program.
Okay, Celeste, do we have another question?
I do. Where will we put insurance and bonding?
The insurance and bonding will go down in other. It might not be included in the survey itself, but you can put it in other, not otherwise classified, and just make sure that that is broken out in the narrative below that it is for insurance and bonding.
And then we have one person want to know if we can send them a list of the allowable costs. That was shown in the screen.
Yes. So if whichever agency this is would contact either your contract administrator or this CCDEE contract docs box, I will send you, or Celeste will send you some light item budget instructions, and that will provide all allowable costs for the entire budget.
Maria Lilly.
Okay, do we have another question?
Courtney?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a couple of questions. If you'd like to provide one-time bonuses for staff working on NC Pre-K, would we put it in other or personnel?
I would say for right now, personnel, but maybe contact your contract administrator about that too. That seems like a very specific question, and I think we would need some more information about that. But I'm thinking human resources other right now. Unless, does anybody else have anything to comment on that? Maybe someone from budget?
Courtney, this is Sonia. I think you will need to have a conversation with them just to make sure we have all the details on what the one-time bonus consists of. So you are correct.
Okay. Celeste, did we have any more questions about the RFA?
Yes, we have a question from Melissa Field. She wants to know, can the funds be used to help cover costs for salaries, as benefits for teacher and teacher assistants? We never have enough direct services to cover this, and we always have to use local funds to pay the remaining of the salaries.
So these funds can only be budgeted for administrative costs. We can't budget these for direct services.
Yeah, she wants to see it. She wants to know if you can use it for teacher salaries and yeah.
But teacher salaries is in direct service costs?
Yes, you ended up correctly.
Yeah, that would have to be under direct services.
One question from a county, Ms. Cynthia wants to know where we can find the RFA application for this funding.
So that can be found in the survey link that was sent out by Rachel Kaplan. It went to all of our NC Pre-K listservs, and so if you can't locate If you or no one in your agency can locate that email, you can reach out to one of your contract administrators and we can help you with that. We'll get you the link.
And Jennifer Lee is requesting, can you share the allowable costs again?
Oh yeah, I'll put it back on the screen. I mean, all costs, all normal administrative costs are allowable. These are just some of the ones that we get questions about when budgets are submitted typically. And so I kind of just tried to put the hot topic ones on this slide.
Okay, and Stacy Bailey wants to confirm that this is a one-time fund.
Yes, that is correct. That is for this fiscal year 2021. Mm-hmm.
Jamaica Wells is wanting to know if she should contact you, Courtney, or Virginia Brooks. Yes, she should contact Courtney Barefoot.
From Durham? Yes, you can contact me.
Katina Moore, Ms. Moore wants to know if they have to pay this money back.
If you mean, I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. If your agency has a reversion at the end of the year, some of that could be coming from this. But as far as paying it back, I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. If all funds aren't spent at the end of the year, yes, they do have to be reverted.
Courtney, they may mean would they have to pay back this money if we give it to them? But no, this is if every contracting agency has the possibility of getting up to 2% to enhance their administrative budget, right? And they would not have to pay this back as long as it's expended.
Right.
Courtney, this is Sonia. We just want everybody to know that this money takes on the same characteristics as the admin money you already have. So there's nothing any different. It may seem different, but as we did this last year in the Olympic one, so it's going to take on the same characteristics. And as Courtney says, at the end of the year, we will have to look at everything to make sure there's nothing that if you receive the money, you do have to pay it back, like Richard said. But you'll see it as your normal admin amount in your contract on a yearly basis.
We have a question from Rosie Allen. What is the limit of requests?
So you can apply for up to 2% of your budget right now, less the CCDF budget. A maximum funding list was sent out with the survey link. And it's also included in the survey as a link. You can click on it and you can download that maximum funding list, and it has every agency. If you're still confused about how much you can apply for, you can email myself or Celeste.
Also, Jamaica Wells, if we want to provide a one-time bonus for staff working on NC Pre-K, do we put it in other or personnel?
I think that still goes along with the one that we answered earlier. So just contact your contract administrator so that we can get the full story on that, and we'll help you with where to go.
Courtney, one of the questions that I have seen in the box is where do they find their CCDF amount? I guess so they can subtract it out. But you can answer that. But basically that link that you referred to is you've already calculated that maximum amount, that 2% that each county or each contracting agency can ask for, correct?
Absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've done much of the hard work for you guys. But you may want to answer to them as to where they can find that CCDF amount.
Okay. So the easiest way, well, there's a couple of ways. You have your CCDF amount in your contract. It's on the cover page listed under federal funding, and there's a CCDF chart. It's also, I think, separated, correct me if I'm wrong, Budget, I think it's separated out in your FSR.
That's correct. It's on the CCDF FSR.
Right, so that would also have the total CCDF amount.
Courtney, I believe you answered this question earlier, but I have Erica from Mecklenburg County, and she wanted to know if you can explain the carry forward funds again.
Okay, so the carry forward funds are just funds from the previous fiscal year, from 1920. They're any unexpended funds that we still had in the budget that we have asked to carry forward into this year to help increase the administrative portions of your program, your contract budget. And as Christy pointed out, it helps go from a 4% to possibly a 6% admin cost. So they're just used for administrative costs. It's just to kind of beef up your admin costs.
I have one question from Jennifer Lee. Do I need to do a budget revision prior to applying for these funds? We are over the initial budget for admin costs.
I would say possibly get up with budget about that one.
Yes. This is Trevon. Ask her to email the DCD email address, send an email to that address, and myself or my ladies will respond back to her. I think we need a little bit more information.
Anyone wanted to know if this is the payout a one-time disbursement or broken down over a span of time?
So this is, okay, so these carry forward funds, you guys have gotten them before. What happens is, it's with Contract Amendment 1, we're just increasing your admin costs. So it's not a one-time payment or anything kind of like that. It's going into your contracted amount, your total contracted amount. So you would pull these down, in a normal FSR the way you normally would. It's not a one-time payment.
In other words, Courtney, this is Christy again, you would just add that to the budgeted amount for admin. They would get 2% additional funding for admin, and they could utilize that as they need it throughout their contracted period.
Right, correct.
There's a lot of questions, Courtney, around allowable costs of what they can spend the money on. So some folks are asking about IT expense for servers and other types of things. So could you just answer that question again about how they would get their full list of costs that they could, allowable costs?
Absolutely. So your allowable costs are in the line item budget instructions that we kind of gave out at the beginning of the contracting period. We could resend those out just to help everyone, because it helps know how to fill out the line item budget, but also what is allowable within each line item. And so, this slide that's up right now was, like I said, just some kind of hot topic ones, but anything that's allowable in admin would be allowable with these funds. So you could email either Celeste or myself, or we'll probably just go ahead and send out the line item budget instructions to everyone again, just so there's no confusion.
I have another question from Katina Morgan. She says she hasn't seen these funds before. I believe we've already gone over what these carry forward funds are.
Yes, we have carried forward funds for the last 3 years. So this will be our third year on carrying forward, additional admin funds in the First Amendment of the DC pre-K contract.
I don't see any more questions if anyone has any
No.
questions.
Okay, my ladies, did you have any other questions?
They want to know, can they buy tablets and hotspots for pre-K children?
That is still allowable up to the $5,000 IT limit.
Let's see. Okay. Okay. Did you answer the one about the security locks on the building?
No.
No. Okay, so with security locks on our buildings that would allow us to see who is at the door before we let them in, be IT or materials and supplies?
I'm going to say go ahead and contact your contract administrator because I would have a couple of questions about exactly what that is if it's me. So just go ahead and contact your contract administrator about that. That's pretty specific. Did you have any other questions, my lady?
No. Let me look at the chat. No, that's it.
Okay, and Celeste, you didn't have any other questions either?
Sure,
The one I see is, Courtney, around COVID-related expenses. I'm not sure what COVID-related expenses might be besides PPE, but there was a question when can this be used for COVID-related expenses?
So the PPE, the cleaning supplies, those COVID-related expenses, absolutely you can budget for those in supplies and materials. Other than that, I'm also not sure, Christy, other than that, about the COVID supply.
sounds like they're to cleaning supplies.
Yeah, so the PPE and the cleaning supplies can go under supplies and materials. If it's outside of that, you could contact the contracts unit, and we'll kind of help you through that one. Okay, well, if there aren't any further questions, I think that we might go ahead and end it here. This has been recorded, like I mentioned earlier, and we will be posting this on the DCDEE website. Let's see, I'm going to put us back on that last slide again. If you have any further questions, if you guys think of anything, if you get into the survey and you get confused, please reach out to us. You can email us at the dcdee.contract.docs@dhhs.nc.gov, or you can contact your contract administrator. So thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you to my panelists for helping with the questions and answers. And I hope everyone has a good day.